Hey y'all, and welcome to the With Love podcast. I'm your host, Khristin Charity, and this is the space for Black women. It's the space for Black women to just be, for us to breathe, for us to be seen, for us to be held, to be celebrated in all of our magic, our softness, our strength, and everything in between. So, with that, I think it's time we head into the episode, right? Yeah, let's get into the episode. Hey, and welcome. We are getting into this episode. Again, I'm Khristin. I'm your host, and I'm so excited to be here and starting this journey. So, just to give a little bit more on the purpose of starting this podcast, I personally have been I think just in more of a season of isolation. Not like it's a bad thing, just with the nature of what I do for work. I'm constantly around people. And then being back in Maryland, which is where I'm from, I recently graduated from PT school, which I guess it's almost been a year now, which is kind of crazy to say. Being back in Maryland, and you would think being back home, like I should have all my friends, blah, 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 blah. There were people that I grew up with, yes, and I see them as like family. And when it comes to family, for me, we don't always have to talk every day, but when we're around each other, it's a key good time. It's with this kind of season of more isolation, I want to build friends. In the beginning, I was more focused on like getting myself together, being now in the working field, being a working professional, and all of that good stuff. But now in this year of 2025, I want to create more friendships, more local friendships. I do have my PT school friends who I love down. I love them dearly. We actually just got back, and this time of me recording this, we actually just got back from Jamaica just a couple of days ago. It was absolutely amazing. And through that, when we schedule FaceTime calls and things of that nature, and it's great, it's amazing. I love talking to them. I love chatting with them. But like I said, having those local friends, having more local besties that I can go out with on the weekends that are just, we're close by to each other. So it's easier. Like that proximity just makes it a little bit easier. I was missing that. And so that's kind of what got me started on wanting to create this space specifically for Black women, being that I am a Black woman, to build friendships, to build sisterhood, and all of that jazz. Because at the end of the day, to me, I believe that at our core of who we are as Black women, with everything that we've had to endure through life, through society, dating back hundreds of years, we have had to endure so much. We've had to advocate for ourselves, push for ourselves, and I think through that, a bond of sisterhood just naturally comes, because we all kind of have that understanding of, you have to push for yourself and do for yourself the way I have to, because the way that the world looks at us, we are at the bottom of the totem pole. So we have to be the ones to build for ourselves, to get ourselves out. And of course, all skin folk ain't kin folk. But for the most part, we've come together and we've created communities for ourselves. And there are so many different podcasts, there's so many different communities that have been created specifically gearing towards Black women and the Black woman experience. And I absolutely love that for us. And I feel that for me, that there can be another one added to the mix. There's never too much going on that we can't come together. And so that's kind of what brought me to this space. And, with that, and being a Black girl who has grown up with smaller friend groups, I always kind of grew up with smaller friend groups, being in trios, honestly. And so I wanted to create that space for that girl who even within proximity, never had that many friends, but still had, your close knit friends. And now being an adult and navigating that is really kind of hard. So I wanted to create this space just for that, to create a space that feels like a love letter to us, just to give us this space to just be. I think because we've had to do so much for ourselves, fight for ourselves, fend for ourselves, do for ourselves, build for ourselves, that the world forgets that we're human at the end of all of it, that we deserve to be soft, that we deserve to live in our feminine energy, that we just deserve to be seen. We're beautiful, we're amazing. And that's that's really what brought me to this point of With Love, Khristin. And like I said, I believe that sisterhood truly is at the core and at the center of who we are as Black women. And so why not make the first episode of who we are at our core, at our foundation, despite what social media and the media might try to put out there about us. We are sisters, and we fight for each other, and we will build and be there for each other. So that's kind of what we're going to get into. Not even kind of, it is what we're going to get into today. Okay, so like I said, we're getting into the topic of sisterhood. So for me, I have been blessed to have a blood sister. I only have one sister who, fun fact, we are born on the same day. So we are exactly 3 years apart. And I love having, my blood sister. And, I'm blessed that we have a good relationship. I'm the older sister, she's the younger sister. And that I know that, one, she's going to ride for me and I'm going to ride for her. And I love having that built in bestie, all of that great stuff, and everything that comes with having a sister. Although we don't look alike, we have the same parents, we don't look alike, but we have such a great time with each other. We make each other laugh. And then, of course, those are those moments that anybody with a sibling, whether it's a sister or a brother, yeah, they might work your nerves just a little bit. There might be moments where you feel like you don't like them, but at all times you love them. Like, that's my little sister. Don't come for her. Don't come for her. So I love my little sis, and it's wonderful to be blessed to have that. On the other end, for some people, maybe you don't have a great relationship with your sibling, or you only have brothers, or you're an only child, and so you don't know what it's like to have a blood sister, but you've built those sister friends. And I think that that is also its own amazing, beautiful dynamic, because with your blood sibling, that is somebody who you were kind of forced to be around due to proximity, due to the fact that you guys have the same parents, growing up in the same household. And you hope that with that there is a good, loving relationship that comes out of it. Like I said, I'm blessed that me and my sister do have that. But I think there's also something so magical and so beautiful about people that you have chosen to be your sisters, people that have kind of come in your life, however they came into your life, whether that be through school or a random party or whatever the case may be, through a hobby, that now they're just in your life. And you have both mutually made this declaration that, even though we may not be blood, you are my sister. Like, you are going to be the aunt to my kids, even though you're not biologically their aunt. I think there's something so amazing and so wonderful about that we as Black women, I think, just do so fantastically. I guess that's a word, I think. Fantastically. Yeah, that seems right. For me, I have had the privilege of kind of being in a lot of female groups. And that's just because I grew up dancing, so I was around a lot of girls. And for the good, the bad, the everything that comes with just being around women, because you know how we can be at times. Love us, but there are times that we can be a little catty. And I'm not going to say that I wasn't a part of that, because I know I was. There was a lot of growth and growing that I had to do, and that came from, you know, the version of me that wasn't as strong in myself. And again, that is another chat for another time, another episode that we probably will delve deeper into those things. But we have those moments. And I think now I have found my people that really exemplify, like, yes, you are my sister. Being there, going through, because when me and my friends, like I said, we went to Jamaica just last week. By the time this episode, yeah, when this episode comes out, it'll be just last week. We just got back from Jamaica, and it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And there's no other group of people I think I'd rather go to Jamaica with. Now, these women I met through physical therapy school. Sidebar, I am a physical therapist. That is part of what my channel was at one point in time. That was focused on that, but this is for right now. So we met through PT school, and let me tell you, professional school, getting that doctorate degree, is not for the weak. Okay, it is not for the weak. Let me say that. So we have really seen each other through the ups, the downs, the ugly, the amazing. So now that we are all in our careers now, because we graduated last year, being at this point in time where we've made it out the mud, been great. We still try to connect with each other, text, but to do this trip, which was to celebrate my birthday, it was absolutely amazing. And then to have that reminder of that from an older Black woman who was probably around my mom's age, saying how she admired our friendship and how we were there for each other and how we looked out for each other and how we carried ourselves. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful to see, to hear. And the fact that she told us, and she told us she was also looking out for us too. Just those things of like, what, to me, like that whole conversation, us in Jamaica, was just literally the culmination of like of what I think of as Black women. We were just living. We were just living and being and doing. We weren't thinking about the fact that we are Black women. We were just out having fun, having a good time, existing, being soft, being gentle, having fun, all of that. And to me, that is the culmination of who we are as Black women. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. And it's a high that I don't ever want to come down from. However, we have work to go to, and I got that tomorrow. It's a Sunday when I'm recording this. It'll be a Sunday when this is released. We got work tomorrow, and that makes me sad. But, we got to make money. For me, that's the vibes, that's the energy that I want to bring into this space. Those are the vibes, and that's the energy that I want to create on a local level, because me and my friends, we are all in separate states. So even though we're close, we're not that close. And of course, we still got to work throughout the week, things of that nature. We're all on the East Coast, so that helps. But again, we're not close. So not close in proximity like how we used to be when we were in school, where we could just walk over to somebody's apartment or do a quick little 5-minute drive to somebody's apartment. There's so much amazingness that comes from having somebody there that will cheer you on in the high moments, that will be that shoulder to cry on in the low moments, the person that will keep you in check, because your friends need to keep you in check. They ain't your sister if they're always saying you're right, because At the end of the day, babes, you're not. You're not always right. Okay. You need people that will, with love, they will critique you on things of just like, hey, this wasn't okay. I know you can do better. Let's do better. To have all of that, that's what we need. And like I said, the media through certain TV shows, things of that nature might portray us in certain lights. And so people in outside cultures might believe that Black women, Black people, that we are super divided, that we hate on each other, that we don't like each other, that we're fighting all the time, things that in the third. And not to say that at times those don't happen, because they do. It just does. That's the reality. But I think more often than not, we are more of a community than, what's loud and proud out in front of people. We are a lot more of a community than that. I want to create my own little bubble, my own little space to showcase that we are more together than apart, that we have so much love for each other, and that we are truly a community of sisters. So again, they can say what they want to say about us, but we know who we are. We know we ain't that. Okay? We know that we are that girl, which is why so many people try to imitate what it is that we do, imitate who we are, but they will never be better than the original, which is us. I personally have had my ups and downs when it comes to female friendships, which, again, a lot of that just had to deal with me growing into who I am as a woman. I had my parts. I cannot say that I was the victim of just bad friends. I definitely played a role in that, and that was just due to me growing into who I am. Now I know the beauty of those sister friends, those people that, yeah, you may have met through proximity, but have chosen to keep in your life. They are people that you choose to have in your life because they are amazing, and you want to be there for them. They want to be there for you. And it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship. And I have that on a widespread level now that we're all scattered. But like I said, looking for that personally on a more local level. So if you're like me, looking for community, things like that, I know it'll be virtual, but eventually, one day as this grows and truly becomes more of a community, we can branch out. And I'm in the DMV area. So anybody looking for a little local bestie, not a little local bestie, but a local bestie, I'm your girl. Okay? I'm here. I'm her. But aside from that, wanting to create, if you're just looking for community, be a part of this one. Be in the first rounds of the people to create this with love group. We are here as beautiful, amazing Black women, living in our joy, living in our truth, growing together, healing together, being together. If you want any of that, join this one. Thank you for listening to this week's love letter to you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I really hope it gave you a piece of something that you can take with you, that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, a nugget to take with you throughout the week. If you enjoyed this episode, please either subscribe, like, rate this podcast, download this episode, do whatever feels right for you. Until next time, with love.